So my family from my father's mother, so my grandmother's family, are Finlandssvenskar. That means a Swede from Finland. So I was raised to believe I was a Swede, because Swedes are cool. And I was raised to be racist against Finns. Is it racist? Are Finns a race? Anti-nationalist against Finns, there, because Finns are a nation, not a race. So in other words, I was taught, Finns suck, Swedes are wonderful. Now, here's the weird thing about Finlandssvenskar is there's Swedes from Finland. And the reason there were Swedes in Finland is Sweden conquered Finland. So they were the nobles who went in to rule Finnish land and peasantized the Finns. So they were not good guys. And they ruled over Finland in this really nasty way for centuries. And then in the Napoleonic Wars, Sweden picked the wrong side and they sided with the French. The French lost. I don't know if you know that. Napoleon was defeated. And so as part of Sweden's punishment, Russia took Finland from it. The Russians then went to the Swedes living in Finland and they said, hey, you guys know how to control these Finns and rule them. You already have your little fiefdom set up with barons and dukes and counts and stuff. You keep doing that, but in our name, and we'll leave you where you are and you just pay us taxes. And the Finlandssvenskar went, yeah, that's a good deal. So basically we lost nothing losing to you in the war. And they're like, yeah, sure. That's how you want to feel about it. In other words, the Finlandssvenskar are not the most popular people in Finland. They're about 6% of the population, and it's an ugly history. I'm owning this. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat or gaslight you. My ancestors were on the wrong side, just so we're clear. Until World War II, and then we made up for it. The Swedes fought side by side with the Finns against the Russians, and all is forgiven. And the Finns and the Swedes are like the Bopsy twins of Europe now. I don't know if you caught this in the news a few months ago, but the Prime Minister of Finland said we want to join NATO, but we can't unless the Swedes join. And it's because Finland will never do anything without Sweden, and Sweden will never do anything without Finland. And Sweden said, we've been holding on to our neutrality for a long time, but if you need to join NATO, and we think you do because the Russians are a real threat, we have to join NATO to support you. Like, that's how their relationship is. They're very cute. They should totally just get married and get it over with. They are. They're already married. So in other words, if I went to Finland, even though there might be some latent resentment left, I'm probably okay. I'm not like scared or anything about it. I took 23andMe. Don't do 23andMe if you're a racist. I'm just telling you right now. It's gonna upend your entire worldview of yourself. It turns out my grandmother was mostly Finnish. It's like, oh no. So now I have to spend years now trying to overcome my anti-Finnishness and embrace the fact that I'm more Finnish than Swedish. But am I? So she had a Swedish name. She spoke Swedish. She identified as Swedish. It's just genetically she was mostly Finnish. See how complicated this got all of a sudden? But now here's the really weird twist, and it's why I'm bringing this up. If you're a 6% minority in a place, and you only want to breed with your own nation, it's going to get cousiny really fast. You know what I mean? You're probably doing your children and grandchildren a huge disservice. At some point, you're going to want to open up to the possibility of marrying into one of the locals. And that's what my ancestors did. So what I am is I'm paternally Swedish, and I had a Swedish male ancestor who married a Finn, and then maybe he married a Swede, that child married a Swede, but then there were like 2 more Finns, and then a Swede again. In other words, as time went by, we effectively became genetically Finnish, because that Swedish DNA just kept shrinking every time there was a marriage to a local.